Kansas City pitcher Steve Crawford is about to get some royal shock treatment thanks to a little flash powder we've hidden behind the television monitor.
What do you have?
And his teammates just love it. Welcome to baseball's 101 funniest moments, where we always keep our sunny side up.
Keep your sunny side up, hide the side that gets blue. If you have 9 suns in a row, baseball teams make money, you know. Keep your winning side up, help the team to come through. Then your name they'll choose for the sporting news. Keep your sunny side up. Win the All-Star game, make the Hall of Fame. Keep your sunny side, give the ball a ride. Keep your sunny side up.
Over the course of the next half hour, it's going to be our goal to try to show you some of the funniest moments that have taken place in the game of baseball. You'll also hear classic stories from guys like Tommy Lasorda and Bob Costas. What else do we have on this tape? How about a guy who ties the knot at the ballpark? Or a player who brushes his teeth between every inning?
Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out.
Believe me, we've got it all. So sit back and get comfortable as we bring to you baseball's 101 funniest moments. Diamonds in the rough are what we like to call this next group of plays, because the skills of these ball players certainly could use a little bit of polish. Don't worry, folks, he was okay. Another player who could use plenty of pledge is this right fielder. There's error number 1. And here comes error number 2. Number 3. And on play number 4, he finally makes the catch. But pays for it dearly, as does this pitcher who gets beamed by the catcher. Nice arm, pal. Or our hitter here who gets it right where it hurts. And our last diamond in the rough who has a little trouble with his slider. Hey, buddy, better work on those control problems. Brett Butler of the LA Dodgers decided to give his son some hitting tips, so he took him out back for a few drills. As you can see, this little guy already has a pretty good swing. Yeah, there are a lot of crazy things that occur in the game of baseball, and on any given night, you never know what you might see at the ballpark. Especially if on that particular night there's a full moon out. Take, for example, our disgruntled manager here, who after getting tossed out of the game decided to shove his shoe in the ump's face.
Smell this! You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna toss you out of the game!
Nice strategy. And this guy's still not done. Off go the glasses. Here's another guy who's just a little upset. First he tosses the water cooler, and then the trash can. Not to be outdone, this manager decides to hand-deliver the trash can to the infield. Nice touch. Ah, the national pastime, a sport you can bring the whole family to. In fact, bring everyone you know. Friends, neighbors, co-workers, people from church, the dog, the cat, the bird. NBC sportscaster Bob Costas tells Jay Johnstone a story involving former Baltimore Orioles manager Earl Weaver.
I think of a manager like Earl Weaver, a legendary manager, but you know how he could rant and rave on the bench.
Tremendously.
And he was throwing a tirade one day. It's one of my favorite stories. And Pat Kelly, who was a reserve outfielder, was a very religious man, born-again Christian. And you know how profane Earl could be. I mean, every other word was you fill in the blank. And the Orioles are in a slump, and they're losing in the late innings, and he's walking up and down the bench cursing everybody and everything. And he picks up a bat, and he runs it along the top of the bench and scatters all the batting helmets that are lined up there, and players are all diving for cover, and they're all looking at the dirt. They don't want to make eye contact with Weaver. And suddenly, Kelly has a burst of courage, and Pat Kelly stands up and he says, "Earl, I'd like to see you walk with the Lord." And the entire bench falls silent. And Weaver looks at him and says, "Pat, I'd rather see you walk with the bases loaded."
Earl Weaver's not the only guy who ever threw a tantrum during a game. Ever since the beginning of baseball, managers have been known to lose their tempers. And 99% of the time, the reason these guys get so worked up is because of the boys in blue. Yelling, cursing, pointing fingers. There's something about umpires that make these otherwise normal adult men go absolutely crazy.
Hey, what's going on? What's the matter? He didn't call you that.
Yes, he did.
Hey, he was kicking off the mound. He did not call you. He said it talking to the ground.
He looked right at me and called me a He's on report for it.
I didn't think he called you. I said, I heard him say I did not say him. Not hear him say I did not hear him say that. Sorry, what's that? Look, he already ran me.
Oh, okay.
What do you want? What, you ain't gonna get nothing.
He already ran my
I know it. What are you gonna do?
Look at my
No, go ahead. You didn't call him.
What?
You didn't call him a
What?
You didn't call him
Right.
Okay, I know that. I know you didn't call him a He called you right. He did not call you No, he didn't. I'm standing right alongside of him now. If he said it, hey, I heard him say he called you
That's good enough.
Okay, but don't say he didn't say that. He did not say that. Fine. He called you agree with you, but he did not say you're
Boy, I'm glad they got that straightened out. You know, umpires aren't always on the receiving end. Occasionally, they like to dish out their share of grief. The ballpark was McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, home of the Pawtucket Red Sox. And here, WJAR sportscaster Joe Rocco was trying to do a live report on the field. But there was a problem. You see, the game was ready to resume, and Rocco wasn't finished with his sportscast yet. So you'd think they'd wait for a few minutes, right? Wrong. The umpires didn't care at all that this was a live report. All they wanted to do was continue with the game.
31-year-old New York woman.
Holding up the game for this. We're not holding up the game.
We're on live TV, sir.
Fine.
Okay.
Show the game.
We'll be at 30 seconds. Okay, thank you.
We're not holding up the game.
All right. The umpires are giving us a little heat here. Okay, we'll be done in about 30 seconds.
No, you won't.
Nice
You'll be done now.
Okay, I'm going to get thrown out here on opening night.
Security, please.
They're calling.
Can we get security over here, please?
All right, they're cutting the lights. We got to go. They want us out of here. Live at McCoy, I'm Joe Rocco. Kathy and Doug, take it away before they throw me out.
Pressing reason, the beauty of live television, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
We called this prank our dinner disaster, and our victim was Frank Thomas, the all-star slugger for the Chicago White Sox. The man who set him up, Steve Lyons of the Boston Red Sox, and the prince of Major League pranks, Jay Johnstone. Frank has gone out to dinner with these two guys, not knowing that we've hidden our cameras throughout the restaurant and are about to put him through the worst meal of his life. Everything Frank orders will be fouled up in some way, beginning with his Diet Coke, which we've loaded with syrup.
What is this?
Diet Coke, but that's like a Diet Coke, so what you got?
I don't know. That's syrup. Syrup. Syrup.
Okay, Frank, you caught us that time. But now see if you can guess what's wrong with your soup.
Wonderful. Cold soup.
Come on.
Yes.
It's cold?
Yes, very cold.
2 for 2, Frank. But how about the bread that's on the table? Anything wrong with that?
This bread, it's like it has a little mold on it or something.
Maybe you should have dipped it in his soup.
Now, if you thought the bread was hard, wait till you try the main course, chicken a la leather.
Mystery meat.
Wow. Outstanding.
What'd you get, chicken Miramar? What's wrong? Yeah. Mine's good.
I am so sorry.
No need to be sorry, Frank. You've been a great sport, and that's why we're going to let you off the hook. Right, Steve Lyons?
Yeah, in fact, if you look right back there real close, and right over there, you'll notice there's a couple cameras.
Can we interest you in something from the dessert menu, Frank? Let's go back in time to the forefathers of baseball. Here's sunny side up Lou Headstand, who redefined the strike zone with his unorthodox style. Lou's flexibility was the key to his success. Then there was famed catcher Johnny I Catch Cannonballs with My Stomach Johnson. This guy became the prototype catcher because of his uncanny ability to block the plate. Nobody ever scored on Johnny Johnson. When you see the modern-day catcher block the plate and stand his ground, you know that Johnny Johnson had his impact. Neither he nor his successors would let even a freight train pass them. Let's give credit where credit is due to the heroes of the past. One present-day player who probably could trace his roots back to those old-timers is Turk Wendell, a pitcher who used to be a Brave but now is a Cub. Turk has plenty of crazy habits, like always running off the field and making sure he never touches the foul line. And he'll only take a ball from an umpire if it's rolled to him, and won't pick it up until it stops completely. He wears no socks, only stirrups. And during the game, he goes through at least 2 packs of black licorice. Wendell also has plenty more rituals he likes to perform.
I kneel down, get the ball, wait for the catcher to come. When he goes to kneel down and catch, I stand up, throw my warm-up pitches. Then I get the ball, he throws it second, get the ball, pray, draw 3 crosses in the dirt, and then go about my business. You know, after that, I'm a normal pitcher like anybody else.
Yeah, no different than anyone else. How many pitchers do you know who brush their teeth between every inning? You heard right. Between innings, Turk comes into the dugout, rakes out the toothpaste, and polishes up those shiny whites. This 24-year-old is one promising minor leaguer with some major league superstitions. Time for our 7th inning stretch and this little man's rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Take me out to a ball game. Take me out to a prayer. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't have it. I ever get back for it. Ooh, for a home team. A medal and it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 guys out at the ball game.
Now that the little guy has got us back in the baseball mood, let's drop everything and run out to the ballpark for plenty more fun. There's nothing like going out to your favorite stadium and watching the stars in action.
Oh, picture me pitching you kisses when the morning train is due. And when day's done, if it's raining, hun, I'll come sliding back to you. Oh, you better play ball with me. What a manager you could be. Let's give love a cloud. Honey, don't hold out. You better play ball with me. Yeah. Soft ball, hard ball, stick ball, knuckle ball, spit ball, grease ball. You better play ball with me.
How would you like to go out to a ball game and see a golden retriever in right field? Get your hair cut in left field. Make a free phone call from the stands. And be placed in seats where you were encouraged to heckle the umpires. Sound good? Well, these were just a few of the sights we saw when we visited the Miracles, a professional baseball team in Fort Myers, Florida. And the person responsible for all these promotions is the president of the Miracles, Mike Veck, a guy who is self-proclaimed crazy.
I would like to think that I'm very rational but crazy. It's an oxymoron, and I tend more to the moron side than the oxy side, but I just love what I do.
And so do the fans, especially when you bring characters like Morticia out to clean off home plate with a vacuum during the 7th inning stretch. Or when you set up a beauty salon that sits right behind the third base bag. Vex says it doesn't get any better than this.
You take the worst thing in the world, which is getting your hair cut, and you take the best thing in the world, which is a ball game, you combine them, and bingo, you've got something that doesn't make any sense. Tailor-made for me.
And so was the Blue Review, a special section where fans sit and critique the umpires.
Hey, Blue! German Shepherd's in the parking lot looking for you! You're missing a good game, Blue! Use the good eye!
Now, if you think anyone can do this, you're wrong. Just ask these fellas.
No, no way.
No. You gotta have etiquette. You can't be completely mindless.
Another fan favorite is the cellular phone in the stands. Hey, lady, who you calling?
Oh, scare me to death.
Sorry, ma'am. We didn't mean to scare you. Just wanted to know who you were calling.
My son. See if he's home.
Checking up on him?
Yes. He's 17. I always check up on him.
And probably the most famous of all Vex promotions is Jericho, the Miracle Dog. Jericho's job is to keep the fans happy by signing autographs during the game and to keep the umpires happy by providing them with Gatorade in between innings.
Good stuff.
There you go, Jericho. Take her back now.
Miracle Baseball, a place where everyone has fun, including the team president.
It's criminal. I have more fun every year. I'm 41 years old with a job that I'm underqualified for simply because my mentality hasn't reached the age of 5 yet.
And that's why we love you, Mike. Another baseball promotion that's become popular over the years is the bat spin race, where contestants are required to put their heads on a bat, spin around 10 times, then it's a race to third base. Hey, third base, not the pitcher's mound. Round and round they go. Where they stop, nobody knows. Here they go again, off to third base. Not even close. These two poor guys couldn't even find their way out of the batting circle. Up you go. Down you go. And the guy on the left takes the cake when it comes to the bat spin race. Not only is he about to lose his balance, but he's also about to lose his pants. Come on, buddy, pull them trousers up.
And interesting, if anything, way, says these contestants, Paul Mins in the red shirt and Rocco Kaiser in the white shirt. Mins and Kaiser having trouble with the bat race. But Mins able to find his senses and get to the third base bag and win it. He'll win it.
And a couple more crazy scenes we came across on the diamond include this minor leaguer who popped the question behind home plate.
Sorry, will you marry me?
How romantic. A mere 50,000 people looking on. A hug, a quick smooch, then he says, "See you later, hon. I have to go out with the guys and finish the rest of the ball game." On to a guy who took things one step further when he got married at the ballpark, with Father Guido Sarducci presiding, and 12 of his closest teammates standing in as ushers. And occasionally, the craziness even spills over into the game. Watch the second baseman as he takes the ball and puts it underneath his armpit. We've all heard of the hidden ball play, but how many of us have ever seen it work to perfection? Even this experienced third base coach is oblivious to what's going on. Back to our second baseman, who still has the ball under his left armpit. The time has come. The trap is sprung, and he tags out the runner for a double play. Time for another classic baseball story. This one comes from Tommy Lasorda, who talks about former Dodger catcher Joe Ferguson.
Exactly. Okay, now let me tell you why I hired Ferguson. We're playing in Dodger Stadium. Runner on third base and 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning.
Okay.
Ground ball to my third baseman, Mickey Hatcher.
Right.
Now, I know Mickey's got a gun for an arm, so I'm going to follow the flight of the ball like this from third to first, because I know he's going to get it over there quick. Right?
Okay.
Ground ball hit to Mickey. I go like this. He fires the ball home. Now, I know one thing. Ferguson is going to be running and backing up the play, right?
Correct.
So I know the ball's going to be up against the screen.
Right.
The run's going to score. That guy's going to go to second base because Ferguson's down to first base, right? Wrong.
Wrong.
When Hatcher catches the ball, he fires it home. Ferguson is waiting for the throw and tags the guy out for the third out. So when they come in, I said to Hatcher, what are you doing, Mickey, throwing the ball home with a runner on third base and 2 outs? And Mickey says, I thought it was 1 out. I said, that could happen. I said, Fergie, you are dumber than him. You were waiting on the throw. And Fergie looked at me and he said, when you play with dummies, you got to think dumb.
While Ferguson takes care of Tommy, let's move on to some party time.
Party time!
Come on, everybody! Come on, everybody! Shake it, shake it, shake that thing! Shake it, shake it, shake that thing! Shake it, shake it, shake that thing!
Now one from our strange but true baseball file. This one took place in Rochester, New York, home of the Rochester Red Wings, where 2 of their players, Shane Turner, number 7, and Tommy Shields, number 19, attempted to enter the baseball record book, but first they had to get the okay from their skipper.
They proposed it yesterday. They said if we clinched second place, could we try getting 2 guys to play 9 positions in 1 game? And I think it'd be a record. And I said, sure, but let's clinch it first. So they went out there last night. It took us 11 innings, but we finally clinched it, so we're going to give it a go today.
And give it a go they did. Each inning, these 2 guys moved to a different position, whether it be third base, second base, shortstop, and even pitching. There was one position that Tommy wasn't looking forward to playing.
Catching. I never caught. I think the last time I caught was when I was 9 years old. So I'm not real excited about it.
But he wanted that record, so he did it anyway. And somehow, these 2 guys managed to play all 9 positions in 1 ball game, which in turn secured them a place in the baseball record book at our strange but true file. Time for our baseball impressions of the decade. First, we have Babe Ruth. Nice job there, Babe. Next, we have Reggie Jackson. While Reggie circles the bases, let's move on to another one of those diamond delights. When Jed Dalton of the University of Nebraska stepped to the plate, he thought this was going to be just another at-bat. But boy, was he wrong. Because Jed not only hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he also managed to hit it right through the window of a car that was passing by the stadium.
I knew I hit it hard, but I thought it was on the line too much to get out of the park. So I was on my horse trying to get around and get a double or triple out of it, and just left the park. I didn't even know it shattered the window until I crossed home plate, came in, and I looked out there, and I guess I saw the car with the shattered windshield. So it was still pretty exciting.
Yeah, pretty exciting for Jed, but not for the guy who was driving the car, who luckily didn't have a passenger with him.
I usually don't go down that road. I usually go down 14. There was a train coming, so I went around the other way. All I was doing was just driving by, and all of a sudden I heard a crash, and I saw the hardball went through my window. And it kind of scared me a little bit, so I just sat there for a little while. And I heard one of the players asked me if I was all right, and I got out of my car and said, yeah, I'm okay.
So you're going to keep this baseball now?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to find out who hit it and take it down and have him autograph it.
And so, what would be the next logical part to our story? You guessed it, Robert had the chance to meet Jed Dalton at the ballpark and had him autograph that historic baseball. This was definitely one of those once-in-a-lifetime sports moments. And what's Robert going to do with that glass-shattering baseball?
Get it mounted right on the front of my car.
Ready for some more monkey business? Meet Charlie, our furry friend, who's about to scare the daylights out of Dwayne Henry of the Cincinnati Reds, who thinks Charlie's a real gorilla.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Ouch. Oh, my. Oh, my. Ouch. Oh, my.
Well, folks, that's it for baseball's 101 funniest moments. Hope you enjoyed the tape, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
You're gonna win that ball game, Uncle Sam. So pitch that cannonball the way you can. You were slow beginning, but just wait till that ninth inning. You can finish what they all began. Your team is all behind you to the man. So keep your bat and make that home run slam. Keep the bases loaded till your hits have all exploded. You're gonna win that ball game, Uncle Sam. Show the Axis how we play in the good old U.S. way. You're gonna win that ball game, Uncle Sam.
Baseball's 101 Funniest Moments was produced by Steve Rotfeld Productions.